guys, Carter here. I was inspired by James this week to do my kind of team prep vlog of sorts, and I also think Jackson's team is really cool. So I kind of want to walk through some of the things that I'm working on, and just give you kind of a day in the life. Today's Tuesday. I think we're playing Thursday night, so I'm going to kind of do daily vlogs, daily updates. I'm going to make these as quick as possible and just talk about what I'm doing right now with the team. So what I'm really most scared about is wheezing Regigigas. My best counter to it, I can't intimidate it, unfortunately, because of wheezing. So what I want to do is that he will usually protect wheezing turn one. So I'm bringing Feint Hitmontop. Hitmontop's Intimidate will not be going off, unfortunately. But none of his abilities will be going off. Feint Hitmontop with a Raikou, Extrasensory. I'm going to max the Raikou, and then Feint Hit, one-shot the wheezing. Slow Start activates, Intimidate activates, and then we'll play from there, and hopefully I should be able to get a win from that point. It is rolling with the Eject Pack. It's kind of a weird item, but the idea is that you could close combat yourself out and then bring something in that might want to come in. I'm a little scared of Arcanine coming in, like, beginning of turn, just forcing it out, but it's not the worst thing, and honestly, this thing doesn't want to be on the field that much if it is intimidated, so I don't think it's that bad at all. It's just a free switch at that point. Helping Hand, I was thinking about Rock Slide in the slot just to give it some extra damage against some of the targets, but we'll see about that. I don't know how useful Helping Hand is, but I do like the idea of boosting Raikou with Helping Hand. I think it's a really fast mon. It's a little bit lacking in offensive firepower, so you either need to be Dynamaxing it or boosting it somehow, but when it is hitting those critical points of damage where it can begin to OHKO, it's just such a threat. I mean, it's so fast in comparison to most of the other Pokemon in the league. I'm bringing Malamar right now. This is an interesting Pokemon. Jackson in general has kind of a fighting type weakness outside wheezing, so I'm just kind of piling on fighting types with Hitmontop and then a superpower, which is kind of, it turns into a pseudo fighting type because you want to be spamming it so much. It's also a Trick Room setter, so I can kind of play with that a little bit, and it will be reflecting back, or it will be gaining value from Arcanine's Intimidate. Glass J is probably pretty spicy. I'm running Lumberry. I think he's going to bring a lot of Will-O-Wisp. Will-O-Wisp is just kind of generally good against my team, and it's a good way to shut down Glass J early before he gets out of hand. But I'm also worried about the Intimidate, so I'm going to run Iron Defense, boost the defense, and then Body Press. Because as I said before, Jackson kind of has a fighting type weakness. He doesn't have any ghost types. So his only good counters are Ninjask and Weezing Galar. Both of which I think Glass J can deal with. So the hope is the Iron Defense, then that lets me deal with Rillaboom indirectly, because Rillaboom isn't going to be touching a Glass J with +2 defense, really. And then just Body Press his whole fucking team. Aromatisse is here. This is just kind of a Trick Room setter to support. I'm not in love with this set yet. And as you can see, basically every single set is 252 beyond this Raikou, which is just EV'd right above, I believe, the Archeops. Appleton's running weakness policy. I like the idea of being able to Appleton G-Max away some status, because I do think status is going to be everywhere. And it's running Grassy Glide, which might see some usage with Rillaboom being around the field, maybe. Probably this is the one I'm least sold on. I'm thinking about Wishy Washy. Seems okay. Maybe Morgrim just to kind of have a backup support option. But it really seems like these three are going to be my main boys. But yeah, I'm trying to figure it out. This is just kind of a somewhat mixed set. Should be fine. I don't love the calcs on it surviving Lapras, which is the other thing I'm most worried about. It's Lapras and Regigigas. I haven't really found a great way to get around Lapras beyond just double targeting it, but that's a little scary because it can max guard and they just get like a massive boost. But I do think that once an Aurora Veil gets up against my team, I'm going to have to wait it out. And if he has Light Clay, it gets even worse. So I've been thinking about Brick Break on Hitmontop as like a possible move. Seems kind of slow. I was even thinking before this week about like wavering for like Corviknight or something. So you could like G-Max away the Aurora Veil, but I decided against that. Really wish I had a Mr. Mime like screen cleaner right now. And this is what I always do against opposing teams, is I make a team that was what I think they'll bring. And I think he's going to bring these five. I'm the least sure about this last one. I love Obstagoon, so I just kind of put him on here to play around with it. And what I do for my prep is I will actually like open up a new browser and just kind of play against myself and see how certain turns can happen, either in a best case scenario or a worst case scenario. It doesn't perfectly replicate what the actual like back and forth of a battle will be, just because, I mean, it's such a rock paper scissors game at best sometimes. But that's the same when you're playing any other player who's not the actual player you're playing. It's not going to be perfect either. So in this way, I can manipulate and make sure certain outcomes happen. And I think this is generally the team he's going to be bringing. I'd be really shocked if Regigigas and Weezing weren't around. But I actually am kind of hoping he brings them because it seems like something that I can really shut down, which maybe means he might not bring them. So that's kind of the things that are going through my head. It's a pretty rough draft right now, but it's looking promising. I really like this Hitmontop Raikou lead. It seems really strong. Really only struggling against Rillaboom, who Glacier does fine against. And yeah, it's going to be interesting. My team's a little wacky this year. It's not as solid, but I think it's going to do some good things. So this is the end of the first day vlog. I'll be checking in later with my prep, and hopefully the week unfolds as I want it to. What's up? It's day 2. Just going over some updates, things I worked on today over lunch. Hitmontop, pretty big change. The eject pack was cool. It was a cool idea, but it wasn't actually working out in a lot of situations, and I didn't like the fact that our Arcanine could just like come and enforce a switch out. And I'm actually appreciating how much I like having Hitmontop on the field for helping hand support. Even if it is intimidated, that's fine. The EV spread, I made it faster than modest max speed Lapras, which I think is actually going to be important. I think being able to hit a close combat on it before it gets up the Aurora Veil will be big, even though it's probably not taking that much damage from an Aurora Veil. Also, I have Citrus Berry on it, and the HP EVs are enough that it will live a Wood Hammer from Miracle Seed Rillaboom 100% of the time, I think. But then it won't get two-shot by Grassy Glide. So it's like, and it's a little complicated in how it all worked out, but it works. This is only with Miracle Seed Rillaboom, but I think that's what he'll bring. At worst case, he'd bring Assault Vest, and I can deal with that. Raikou's unchanged. It's been working out really well in practice. I dropped Malamar, have Morgrem, potentially for some eject button trick shenanigans on Lapras. Throughout my prep, I've really been appreciating how much of a threat Lapras is to my team. I don't have really good ways to deal with it outside Raikou, and I'm worried that he'll come up with something that counters it, like, I don't even know, like a Scarf Arcanine or something wild. Even Cottony with Light Screen, maybe could be a thing. Morgrem also helps deal with Cottony. It's faster than it. I EV'd it for that, and it can taunt it before anything goes off. It might run Mental Herb, but additionally, just I think fast priority taunt just helps in a lot of situations with weird stuff. I can't anticipate every single thing he'll bring, but it's kind of a nice stopgap. It also has Fake Tears. I might change things along with this. It's kind of a weird set, like Trick, Protect, Taunt, Fake Tears. They all kind of don't do that much, but it is just like heavy support, and Malamar wasn't doing anything anyway, so I'd rather bring something that actually has a role that can do some important things in niche situations rather than never bringing it at all. Glastrier, I updated the EVs a little bit. This is to live I think it's like a max water Lapras, 252 modest to not get 3 KO'd by it, I believe. And then the defense is enough to hit some benchmark of damage. I forget exactly what it is. I think it's enough to, after a +2 boost, to still be able to 2-hit KO Lapras with Aurora Veil, but that might be incorrect. It's hitting some target. I think the overarching thing with all these things is that I don't think EVs actually matter that much beyond speed EVs. I think they're really just indications of what you want them to do, and hitting the certain benchmarks when there's so many variables, like maybe you get fake out 6% on it one turn, and suddenly your whole calc to live something with 99% or to live with 1% health like goes out the window. So I always just try to keep it simple, stupid. But in situations like these, you can kind of, honestly, most benchmarks are just for me to tell me myself when to stop, because I just need something to like plant my flag on. Aromatisse is unchanged. This is probably what I'll deal with tomorrow and figuring it out. I think I just need a Trick Room option. It's just strong to have Trick Room, especially with Appleton and Glass GA. It can just blow his team out, and I need to threaten it. I'd rather him try really hard to counter me getting Trick Room up and be scared of things, and then never bring it, rather than never even have the threat and then him suddenly like being able to more proactively counter my leads. Appleton's probably the biggest change. This was actually at choice specs earlier in the day, but I changed to Yashi Berry because I really didn't like that it was getting blown out by Lapras one shot. Even with Thick Fat and max HP, I would need a lot of special defense investment, and that wouldn't even live all sets. So Apple Acid's really interesting. It can just kind of get a lot of momentum against the Arcanine and Rillaboom, just reducing their special defense and putting actually decent chip with a Grassy Train up. And the Draco meter just blows them up. Recover is just like, this can act as a late game win condition. Arcanine and Rillaboom really can't touch this Pokemon unless Rillaboom's running like acrobatics, which I don't think it will be. Maybe though. And yeah, it just seems really strong against two of the stronger leads. And also with an Apple Acid max overgrowth, especially in grassy terrain, it will just destroy Lapras. The one thing I was noticing is that Arcanine Snarl is a little bit of a problem. None of my Pokemon want to be at -1 special, like the special attackers don't want to be at -1 special attack, which is another reason why I was dropped the eject pack and Hitmontop, is that it was getting hit by Snarls and then forced out before it could do anything, which is just obnoxious. So a little worried about Arcanine, a little more worried about Lapras, but I think overall the team's strong, and really it's just this Hitmontop Raikou lead. And the option to either feint, fake out, or helping hand can actually basically guarantee a kill on any of his leads. And he can't really shut that down unless he has some crazy tech, like a I don't know, prankster light screen or something. So I'll check in tomorrow with the updated results and what's going on. Hey everybody, it's 5:53, just finished up my Jackson match. I'm just going to give my thoughts on it. Quick update on the team, not much change since I checked in last time. Only thing that I think actually changed was I did some different EVs in this Aromatisse. It lives 100%, Miracle Seed, Rillaboom at 252, Woodhammer, and then I just put the rest in a special defense. That way it had a chance of not getting 2-hit KO'd by a max modest Lapras, which I thought was like a pretty good benchmark. But beyond that, nothing changed. Just going into this whole thing with the same plan of that Raikou Hitmontop lead. So this is team preview. Let me see if I can... Oh, shit. Sorry if it's a little bit formatted weird, but I think the battle's on the screen, which is what matters. So as I kind of called my shot here, it's the exact scout team that I thought was going to be there. As we go into the battle, we'll see there's a few differences that I didn't really think about. But yeah, we got the Fire, Water, Grass, we got the Weezing Galar, and we got the Obstagoon finishing it out. So the plan's going to be lead Hitmontop Raikou right off the bat. So yeah, so we're looking at this. Oh, wait, this is game 2. Spoilers. All right, let's start with game 1. So we have the Raikou Hitmontop. We have the Weezing Galar, Regigigas lead. It's exactly what we prepped. It's the first thing I worked on. We're going to feint the Weezing. Max Mindstorm the Galar. I had a fear that it had a Psychic Resist Berry, and I was about to get my pants blown off, but thankfully that wasn't the case. One shot, Intimidate goes off. I also discovered that I didn't have Inner Focus on this Raikou. I had Pressure, which is actually like not a massive deal because I'm going to be Dynamaxing this basically every turn. But yeah, a little embarrassing there. So we immediately see on the second turn, and this is where I was kind of worried. I was going to get I had a speed drop, and then also the Hitmontop gets burned here. I thought he was actually going to be more like special with Will-O-Wisp, but he's not. He just throws that fucking Flare Blitz out. At this point, I'm just kind of like, what can we do here? I think the most important thing is, okay, let's just kill the Arcanine, and then I should be able to kill everything with Glastrier. So that's my plan, is I'm going to just double target the Arcanine, basically, with the Helping Hand. Thankfully, we get the kill there, and we get Rain set up as well, which potentially is not actually great if Lapras is in the back, but it's not because he brought the Regigigas, and I didn't expect him to bring both Regigigas and Lapras at the same time because they both want to be G-maxed, and you don't really want to duplicate that. So he has Rillaboom in the back as I expected. Right here, there's a possibility I could have done some switching here and tried to cycle Intimidate, but I basically was like, let's just get as much damage as we can right now, and I'm pretty confident that Glastrier and Appleton can like clean this up. Especially if I can get the Regigigas out of the way, Appleton I know will hardwall Rillaboom. So that was my late game win con thinking. And I knew he was going to fake out this guy, so I didn't even bother using Helping Hand. Maybe a mistake if he didn't, but whatever. So just Helping Hand again, because I'm pretty sure this guy's going to get killed before he goes off. And then the Body Press is enough to kill the Regigigas non-Deed Max, which is great. And then from this point, I know it's in the bag. Like, it doesn't really matter. Appleton is just going to win, even if this Glastrier got off the field. So pretty easy game one. It kind of went exactly according to plan. But now I know he's going to be bringing Lapras. I don't change my leads. I bring Raikou Hitmontop again, but he switches it up with the Obstagoon, and I'm a little scared about this because I really just hadn't even prepped that much against Obstagoon. I knew it was probably going to have Tropical Berry. That's what I brought on my team, but so I know I can't just close combat it. So I decide that basically what I'm going to do is I calc this out beforehand, and I thought Max Lightning was going to be enough to kill. It turns out it's not, so I don't know his investment or if I just messed with the calc, so that's kind of shitty. So I decided just like, I'll just kill it and then fake out the Arcanine. That doesn't work out. He gets a Parting Shot off here, which starts to really scare me because this thing does not want to be negative special attack. This is my main beater. Electric Terrain's gone. Grassy Terrain's up. I'm like, fuck. Thankfully, I don't think his Arcanine is as special defensive as I expected it to be. So I get to get that kill there. And the high horsepower is not doing that much. Not as much as I thought. So that's great. Some of the, I guess, and right here, I decided to double target the Lapras. I knew he probably was going to max guard. But I just didn't feel, I didn't want to give him that for free. I didn't want to give him Aurora for free. I wanted to get chip on him. And I could kill it here. So I was like, okay, I'm already up a little bit. I'm pretty confident in Appleton being able to clean this up with Yachi Berry and Glastrier in the back. Let's just make sure that I don't get too greedy. Play it safe. If he max guards, the Lapras loses a turn. Anyways, and I'd rather, and I didn't think I had any pressure on Rillaboom with these two Pokemon because they're both at -1. I could have maybe done like I don't even know. Like, I could have close comboed the Rillaboom, I guess, but Rillaboom at this point doesn't matter because I have Appleton. All that matters at this point is this Lapras. And the Obstagoon's at 2 little health, probably to matter too. So I do that. I live. And right here, I go for the Helping Hand, thinking, again, I probably should have just close combated. That probably would have been a little bit more damage, and I'm pretty confident that Hitmontop would outspeed the Lapras, but I also was a little afraid of Rillaboom coming in and just one-shotting Hitmontop, so I decided against it. and I went for the Helping Hand Thunderbolt. Did a decent amount of damage at half. And I thought maybe he was banded at this point if he was just like smacking out high horsepowers. But the amount of damage he did to my Raikou didn't make sense for that. And I realized that he probably had actually just targeted the Raikou slot and then targeted my slot with the G-Max Resonance, and like that's why it happened. So we go down to both 2v2. In this position, I know I'm advantaged. I know he's gonna he's gonna ice move this and kill this, and I really just need to kill this. And I'm hoping that he's not bulky enough or doesn't have a resist barrier or something that's gonna stop it. So I just double target the Lapras. I know he's on his last turn. He's probably not gonna max guard it again, and he probably thinks he's in an advantage state because the max G-Max Resonance is just gonna one shot the Appleton. But thankfully I have the Yachi Berry like we planned. To be able to tank that hit. And I think it only does like 42%. 52%. So I live that pretty comfortably. This hits his roll. I don't know if that was a hard roll or not. I would have to know a set, but I was a little scared there. The Obstagoon comes in. I'm a little scared that I'm just going to get blown up somehow. But I realize that if I just protect this Appleton, this Rillaboom cannot touch me, especially at -1. And the Aurora Veil is going to go up eventually. So I just say, okay, fuck it. If I live, this Glass J lives, he lives. If he doesn't, he doesn't. And we see the Chopo Berry revealed there as well, like we planned in the scout team. And I just recover, just get up to 100, play for the late game win con. And right here, I just use Apple Acid a few times. Honestly, I mean, I guess I could have Draco Meteored more. But I think at this point it was kind of over. So he didn't have acrobatics or anything like that that could really threaten me. So that was the games. That was my thought process. A lot of it went just according to plan, according to prep. So there's not that much to talk about. It was a little interesting. Turn 1, he parting shots out when he's at +1. I was a little confused about that. I feel like he could have really started putting some pressure on me. But he doesn't go for it. And that could have gotten a little scary. That's probably the part of the that like this interaction here. I was like, fuck, because if I go down -1 against this team, and then Lapras comes in, it can get really sketchy. Lapras is really, really, really fucking strong, and I didn't appreciate how strong it was leading up to the draft. But when I was doing prep, I was really, really impressed. So, yeah, that's the entirety of it. It was really fun games. It was fun to play Jackson. This team's really, really, really cool. Has so many different options. And, yeah, I just had a lot of fun prepping for this week. And I really had to, like, figure out some really niche ways to counter it, because I think without that, I would have just gotten blown out of the water. So, props to Jackson for the great team. Props to Jackson for the really fun games. And I hope you liked the team report recap stuff. I might do this next week if people like it. I don't know. Yeah, so have a great week. Bye.